Hi guys, so I'm going to read Tales of the Crypt number 21. So it says, Cooper dies in electric chair. Convicted killer swears revenge on Judge Holly as switch is thrown. And apparently the guy is alive. So maybe that's a story in this, but the Crypt Keeper's tale.
Have you ever seen a living corpse, dear reader? Do you believe that the dead can be revived? That they can be made to live once again? Then read this story, one of the best of my terror tales that I keep here in the crypt. It is the story of James Cooper and how he came back from the dead. I call it A Shocking Way to Die.
My story begins in a courtroom, crowded with the curious who have come to watch a convicted murderer be sentenced to death. And it is the judgment of this court, James Cooper, that you be sent to state prison, and there be electrocuted on the night of November the 7th. And may the Lord have mercy upon your soul. No, no! I've been framed. You're all against me, but I'll get even. I'll come back, and I'll get you, all of you. I'll have revenge, you'll see. Let's go, Cooper. The evening papers carried blaring headlines of James Cooper's threat. Convicted murderer swears revenge. To return from the dead. Jury members amused. Cooper to die. Night of November the 7th. But a few nights later, in a ramshackle house outside of town, for the right price, gentlemen, I can bring James Cooper back from the dead. Revive him after he has been electrocuted. What? You can make him live again? That is correct. I have been experimenting on electrocution dips for many years, and have been successful with animals. I have longed to experiment on a human. That is why I have contacted you. And so a few days before James Cooper was to die in the electric chair, he had a visitor from the death house. What do you think, Jimmy? Want to chance it? Of course, you fool. What have I got to lose? Pay him his money. The deal was made, and on the night of November the 7th, at the appointed hour, all right, Cooper, let's go. Sure, guard, sure. Down the long corridor to the little green door, the convicted man. I don't know if it's Cooper reading this or it's the Crypt Keeper. Yeah, I'll read him. I'll read as Crypt Keeper.
Down the long corridor to the little green door, the convicted man, flanked by the warden and a guard, slowly made his way. Down the last mile, the heavy door swung open. Inside sat reporters assigned to cover the execution.
Sorry about that. So look, Joe, the jerk's smiling.
Wait
till he'll crack. They always do. Outside the dark gray walls in the prison yard stood a black hearse. A face peered out of behind the drawn curtains, while within the prisoner was being strapped to the lethal chair. He doesn't seem to be afraid. I don't get it. Electrodes were fastened into place. Oh, I forgot to read. Yeah, sorry.
Electrodes were fastened into place.
All set, Warden. All right, Mr. Executioner.
A small man stepped to a control panel and pulled a switch. The stench of burning flesh and singed hair filled the room as the lights dimmed. After a few moments, a doctor stepped forward and placed his stethoscope on James Cooper's heart.
This man is dead.
A guard stepped forward.
His relatives are here to claim his body, sir. They may come in.
The doors to the black hearse swung open, and the covered body of James Cooper was lifted in.
Hurry! Okay, Prof.
The huge gates to the prison parted, and the hearse with its odious prize roared through.
Quick, we haven't a moment to lose. Step on it, Louis.
In a matter of moments, the dark black car pulled up before the professor's house.
Careful, I've given him 3 hypodermics. Do not jar him. Don't worry, Prof. We'll handle him like a baby.
The stiff form of James Cooper was placed upon a metal table in a room filled with complicated apparatus.
It will take me a moment to attach my equipment. The professor busied himself with electrodes,
plates and other gadgets, which he fastened to Cooper's body, and then...
There, I've thrown the switch. I figure that 2 minutes of exposure will be sufficient. Looks like a Frankenstein movie. Gives me the creeps.
After the 2 minutes had passed, the apparatus was turned off. All eyes watched the still form. The seconds ticked off. 10, 20, then...
Look! His hand! It moved! He's alive!
Slowly the draped figure stirred, and then sat up. The sheet fell away, and...
Cripes! His flesh is all burned!
Certainly. He has been subjected to a very high amperage charge.
He looks horrible. Do not worry. With proper medication, he will heal. What happened? Take it easy, Jimmy. You've had a rough time. I remember now. The chair. I was electrocuted. This is the professor I was telling you about, Jimmy. He revived you. Give me a gun. What? You heard me. Give me a gun. No, don't! Don't give him anything until I've had time to determine whether his brain has been damaged. Louie, you heard me. Sure, boss, sure. Here. Thanks for the favor, prof. Here's my payoff. Jimmy, don't you... you shouldn't have done that. Jimmy, he was going to fix up your burns. Don't need it now. Now I'm going to get that jury. Wait, Jimmy, don't do nothing foolish. Forget the jury. They just did their duty. I swore revenge. Now I'm going to get it. He's different. He doesn't seem to be all there. Maybe what the prof said about his brain being damaged. Late in the next night on a dark street. All right, juror number 1. Here's where you get yours. What? Who is it? No, Cooper! And the next morning, juror in Cooper case found murdered, feared victim of gangland retaliation. Strange marks on throat said to be burned flesh prints. Meanwhile, at the Cooper gang's hideout, it's the boss! Good Lord, look at him. He looks worse than yesterday. What are you staring at? It was true. James Cooper's burned and seared body did look worse. It seemed to be rotting. Yeah, sorry guys. I have a really bad cold. But you haven't done it, Jimmy. They turned the heat on. Who cares? I'll get them. Every last one of them. Again that night, James Cooper stalked a victim. That takes care of you, juror number 2. And the papers played it up. Second juror found murdered. Police rounding up every known member of Cooper gang. Courtroom promised to return is recalled. The police grilled suspect after suspect. Meanwhile, the other jurors were given police protection. All right, I'll talk. It's Cooper, he's alive. You're lying. Yeah? Then why don't you look in the grave for his body? Hogan, get the necessary papers. We'll take this stoolie suggestion. By court order, the grave of James Cooper was opened. Okay, boys, pry the coffin open. It's empty. He is alive. It can't be. I wouldn't believe it if I saw it with my own eyes. That night, James Cooper again roamed the city, being careful to keep out of sight. He was a ghastly thing to see. His flesh had almost completely decayed from his body. While the cops are guarding the jurors, I'll get the judge that sentenced me. His hideous face peered into the study of Judge Warren Holly. Good, he's alone. You know, you'd think they'd probably guard the judge since she was the one that, did that. Anyway. But slowly he opened the French doors and entered. Cooper! Good Lord! What do you look like? I've come to kill you, Judge. The judge snapped a poker from a nearby fireplace, and as Cooper advanced towards him, Keep away, Cooper! Keep away! All right, you forced me to. Yeah! The blow from the heavy iron poker caught Cooper across the face, and the remaining flesh fell away. Then he collapsed into a heap of bones and decayed rot. Later, after the coroner had examined Cooper's remains. I don't know what to make of it, Judge. You say he talked and walked? According to my tests, he's been dead since November the 7th. Dead? But he lived. I saw him.
Yes, Judge, Cooper lived. At least he moved and talked, but he was a living corpse, and his body continued to decay, as all dead bodies do. Soon he had decayed to such a point that even the life that the poor old professor had given him slipped away. Too bad, though. He was getting to look real pretty, don't you think so? Well, for more spine-tingling tales, read on, if you dare. Don't just go to pieces like poor old Jimmy.
And this is the tale of
Two people who visited an amusement park and were not amused. I call it Terrori.
by Woody. Yeah, I think they said Woody. I'm not sure who that is. I guess it's a good, or it says no, Feldstein's first one. And then this one's made by a guy named Woody. So
George and Ruth had been driving for hours when they saw the sign.
Look, George, an amusement park. Let's stop for a while. Okay, Ruth, we can take in some rides.
The cool September air stirred lazily as they entered the shabby gates and walked down to the Midway.
Oh dear, the roller coaster is closed up. Looks like the whole place is boarded up, Ruth. The season's over, you know.
George and Ruth stood alone in the deserted Midway.
Gee, I guess we might as well leave. Yeah, too bad. Suddenly. What's that, Ruth? Sounds like water splashing. Oh, look, George, how quaint. An old mill ride, with a water wheel. I'm glad at least one ride is open. Let's try it. I don't know, George. It's always so dark in those things. What a better place to take my new bride than on a dark boat ride. Oh, George, stop. How many, please? 2. Aren't you very busy, are you?
No, not many people come here this time of year. All right, take the next boat.
Comfortable, honey? Snug as a bug.
Have a pleasant trip, folks.
The boat with George and Ruth moved slowly towards the yawning black mouth of the tunnel. This looks like it's going to be fun. Please, George, the man will hear you. And then, oh, it's dark. The darker the better. You're fresh, George Arnold. Don't you forget who you just married today, Mrs. Arnold. Now give me a... Suddenly, the light flashes on. Yee! What the... Oh, it's just one of those wax displays they have in the rides. But it looks so real. The boat moves slowly forward, and the display darkens again. Those wax figures, when they're done by an expert, always look real. Now, where were we? You were about to give me a... How horrible! Say, this isn't funny anymore. Those displays are revolting. George, I don't feel so good. We'll be out soon, Ruth. I must say, the owner of this place has a macabre sense of humor. Look, George, another one. They certainly do look real. They get that decapitated corpse, and the dried blood. I'm closing my eyes. I'm not going to look anymore. I don't blame you. They're all pretty disgusting. We hit the boat, or hit something. The boat, it stopped. I'll see what it is.
George moved to the front of the boat and groped into the inky blackness.
It's something soft in the water. I'll light my cigarette lighter. Good Lord! It's a body! George, I want to get out of here. I can't move the boat. It's jammed on this corpse. We'll have to wade the rest of the way.
As the frightened couple splashed through the black tunnel.
Great Scott! I just thought of something, Ruth. What? That corpse was real. Maybe the displays were real too. Oh, no, no!
On through the murky darkness they waded.
We'll be out soon. I gasped, I'm tired. I gotta rest, George. Here's a place to sit down. Thank goodness. I'm about ready to. Suddenly, the place where they have stopped is flooded with light. It's another display. It is real, George. It is real. Fear and terror clutched at their hearts as George and Ruth rushed from the horrible scene further into the inky gloom. Here's an empty display. You can rest here. It looks like some kind of torture chamber. As soon as you catch your breath, we'll get out of here, Ruth. The owner. He must be a madman, a homicidal maniac. You didn't laugh at my exhibits, did you? George, it's him. Look at his eyes. He is mad. Yeah, sorry about that. So, Jesus Christ. Oh, sorry about that. All summer they laughed at my exhibits, the fools. They said my wax dummies didn't look real. Now I can show them, he. Ruth, get ready to make a break for it. No more will they laugh now. My exhibits look real, because I use real people, and this is my last display. And my medieval torture chamber, thanks to you two, like the others who wandered into the deserted amusement park and found this ride. I will be able to finish it. There is no use running. You can't get out. The exit is closed and locked. Run, Ruth, run! Ha ha! I'll get you. Never fear. Those gas shackles he's carrying. Yes, gasp. He wants us to put on that stretch rack. Gasp. George, he's coming after us. There, George. The end of the tunnel. And the exit. It is locked. We're trapped. Maybe if I scream for help.
There's no use calling. No one will hear you. The park is deserted.
Creep away, you crazy idiot. Crazy? You'll see if I'm crazy. The maniacal owner, his eyes burning, lunges at the cowering pair.
I'm a genius. I create realistic...
Yeah!
George, he slipped on the wet boards.
Don't look, Ruth. Don't run. What a horrible end. Caught in the water wheel. His own diabolical ride finally destroyed him. Come, Ruth, let's bust that padlock and get away from here. Remember, we've got a honeymoon to finish. The end. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You probably call the police right after experiencing all that stuff. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be appreciated. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.